Gotta go, gotta see things, see new faces and brand new things. Gotta go places and do things, maybe to forget.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you're new to the channel, I am Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz, courtesy of Jack G and Volvo Hyundai in York, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So we're in the new 2025 Santa Cruz today because it has been refreshed with a more rugged look for 2025. You get new tech for 2025 as well, updated interior, and you still get America's best warranty, being 5 years, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper, 10 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain. So you gotta love that. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. There's a massive box behind me, but anyways, as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2025 Santa Cruz. You got the SE starting at $28,750, SEL for $30,450, SEL Activity for $33,450, XRT, which is kind of the off-roadish trim level, for $40,250, and lastly, the Limited going for $42,750. And so those last two trim levels come standard with all-wheel drive. However, the first three come standard with front-wheel drive. If you wanted to add all-wheel drive, you can do that. Simply add $1,500 then to any of those prices. But with all of those trim levels, there are actually two different engine configurations available for the Santa Cruz. First engine configuration is going to belong to the SE and SEL trim levels. That one is powered by a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder, putting out 191 horsepower at 6,100 RPM, 181 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 4,000 RPM. That power being sent to front wheels or all wheels through an 8-speed automatic. And when it comes to MPG numbers, there 22 in the city, 30 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 21 in the city, 29 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. But so then there is that other engine configuration, of course, belonging to the XRT and the Limited. That one is powered by a 2.5 liter turbocharged four-cylinder, putting out 281 horsepower, 5,800 RPM, 311 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 1,700 RPM. Power sent to all four wheels through an 8-speed wet dual clutch. 0 to 60 time for that one, approximately 6 seconds flat, with MPG numbers coming in at 18 in the city, 26 on the highway for the XRT, 19 city, 27 then on the highway for the Limited, taking regular unleaded fuel yet again. But before we do any kind of fun acceleration test on this thing, I did want to mention to you guys the drive mode. Stop it. Oh, there we go. So drive mode toggle switch is located directly behind the shifter. Drive modes are going to include normal, sport, smart, and snow, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the steering sensitivity. So now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's put the acceleration here to the test in sport driving mode, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz here up to speed. All right, got her straight away. Rolling start though, and yow! Oh wow, these headrests are soft. I know this isn't a headrest test, but acceleration is okay. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. Acceleration is kind of pokey. We got the naturally aspirated engine. It's not the turbocharged one. Of course, if you want more acceleration, go with the turbocharged engine. Having said that, the unturbocharged engine, being the one that we have with us here today on our SEL Activity, by the way, that's the trim level that we have, it's probably gonna be more reliable because it's not turbocharged, and there's no kind of like turbo lag at the very beginning either. That's the other thing, which I like, but it is slower. Definitely substantially slower than I expected, but that's okay because it's better reliability. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 12.8-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 12.8-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 6-0 stopping distance goes, comes in at 119 feet, plenty respectable there. As far as braking feel goes, it's okay. It's pretty much as I expected the braking feel to be like in the Santa Cruz. It's not a firm braking feel whatsoever. It's maybe a little bit on the softer side of things, but you know what? 119 feet, that's typically like borderline sports sedan number, so the braking number itself is actually really good, so I like that. But then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension. As far as ride quality goes, in my short little test drive here today, it's actually been perfectly fine. 100% don't have any issues with the ride quality, so I do like that. As far as the steering feel goes, kind of feels like an SUV. It's on the looser side of things. It's not a heavy steering feel. I didn't expect it to be, but I'm just getting off driving the Elantra N, which did have a heavy steering feel and I loved, so everything is going to be loose at this point. But yeah, it's okay. It's pretty much as you would expect it to be. Like, as far as cabin noise goes, I'm gonna go ahead and be quiet for 3 seconds here. I'll let you guys be the judge. And what do you think? And through my Rode mic, what do you guys think there? It's perfectly fine for me. It's nothing that would bother me, so 100% on point there as well. And actually, every single trim level for the Santa Cruz does get an acoustic laminated front windshield, which you don't always get, so that's kind of cool. So that's going to definitely make it a more serene cabin for that reason. But then touching on rear visibility, just looking out the back here, it pretty much looks like any truck you've ever driven, so that's how rear visibility is going to be for you. Also like the sliding rear window back there. I'll show you guys a little more of that a little later in the video, but did want to also mention when it comes to forward visibility, if you go with the limited trim level only, you also get rain sensing windshield wipers, which would be super handy today because it is raining. But essentially what that is whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on the windshield wipers for you, kind of like automatic headlights. So in my mind, that's pretty darn cool. Still can't get over how ridiculously comfortable these headrests are. You never find that, except for like, you know, S-Class Maybach kind of thing. Like, these are really comfortable headrests. You can just kind of sink into them. I'm harping on something stupid, I know, but it's nice. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz, finished in Hampton Gray, in case you were curious of our exact exterior color name that we had with us here today. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where the Santa Cruz is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 5, indicating that the Santa Cruz is built and assembled here in the US, specifically Alabama. But let's go ahead and start up front. There is a restyled front grille and bumper. Although it's pretty similar to what it used to be, it is just slightly refreshed, I guess you could say. You still have that beautiful angel wing daytime running light design, which I love. But anyways, daytime running lights are integrated into the front grille. That is what you're looking at there. You get some new red tow hooks up front for the XRT trim level only. To the sides, LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. It does come standard for all trim levels, by the way. That's pretty cool. You get the automatic feature. You get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night, that senses the vehicle coming in the opposite direction. It's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. And all the way down below, in case anybody is curious, when it comes to ground clearance, that comes in at 8.6 inches. But that pretty much rounds out the front end of this one. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the Santa Cruz here, all the way to the top, you will find that floating roof line on the C-pillar there. You got rear privacy glass coming standard for all trim levels as well. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors. They're going to be finished in satin black for the XRT though, heated for the SEL trim level and up, and then you get integrated turn signals for the SEL trim level and up then as well. Then take a look down at the wheel setup, 18-inch alloys for the SE and SEL trim levels, 18-inch XRT specific alloys for the XRT, obviously, and then 20-inch alloys for the Limited. And I like those little side rails too at the very bottom. That's pretty cool. And I can't forget to mention one more thing. Let me get up a little bit closer here, just above the wheel wells here. You do have a little picture of the Santa Cruz, so it's kind of integrated into the body there. So wanted to show that to you guys, a little Easter egg. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the Santa Cruz, all the way to the top, gloss black shark fin antenna. Got that center high mount stoplight as well, of course. Santa Cruz lettering is going to be etched into the rear tailgate. You have LED taillights. They do come standard, by the way, for all trim levels across the board. And then just below it all, you're going to find either a single or dual exhaust outlet. So single, of course, being with the naturally aspirated engine, then dual exhaust for the turbocharged 4-cylinder. But having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here as always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the Santa Cruz, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, all you need to do is make sure that the Santa Cruz is unlocked. There is a lever back there on the tailgate itself, of course, but once opened up, as far as that bed length goes, it comes in at 52.1 inches. The bed width comes in at 53.9 inches. You do have some LED bed lighting for the SEL activity trim level and up. There's a actually bed lighting button by the driver's side left knee here in case you're curious about that. Sheet molded composite bed comes standard for all trim levels across the board. You're gonna find some sidewall bed storage compartments. I love that for all trim levels across the board. But perhaps the coolest thing about the Santa Cruz is kind of like the Honda Ridgeline, I guess. But when you lift up underneath of that bed floor, you got some lockable in-bed storage, which is stinking cool. I definitely like that, but let's go ahead and make our way to the rear legroom now. It comes in at 36.5 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back there. You do have 60/40 flip-up bench seats, of course, in typical truck fashion, which is holding a massive box back there right now. Rear AC vents coming on the SEL trim level and up, and you got dual rear USB charging ports for all trim levels across the board. And again, that sliding rear window, that is pretty cool back there as well. But then making our way up to the front seats, cloth seating for the SE trim level, leatherette seats for the SEL trim levels and the XRT, leather seating for the limited, power adjustable front seats with power lumbar for the SEL trim level and up, heated front seats, SEL trim level and up, and then ventilated front seats is only going to come on the limited trim level. But overall, as far as seat comfort goes, definitely comfortable seats, like super comfortable seats. I loved them, and specifically the headrest. They are just so nice. The headrests are really comfortable. But anyways, then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is going to be leather wrapped for the XRT trim level and limited, and then heated for that limited trim level and up. In case anybody is wondering where's the Hyundai logo, there's 4 dots in the middle of this steering wheel. That is Morse code for the letter H. So that's the Hyundai logo. Anyways, let's go ahead and make our way to the startup now. We'll start by showing you guys the key. It's kind of this egg-shaped key with the Hyundai design logo kind of integrated into it. You lock, unlock, the hold button that is going to be a remote start, which by the way comes standard for all trim levels. So that's pretty cool, but it is all keyless entry with a push button start for all trims as well. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that silver engine start button located just to the left of the center air vents there. And so once started up, there's 2 different gauge clusters you can get. There's going to be an analog gauge cluster with a 4.2 inch screen for the SE and SEL trim levels. And then there's a 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster, which of course you guys are looking at. That's going to be with the SEL activity trim level that we have today and up, of course. So I think the only gripe that I have with the gauges, I don't know why Hyundai did away with it, but typically in the past, when you change the drive mode, it adjusts the look of the gauges up there. But now when I change the drive mode, absolutely nothing changes. Everything stays exactly the same. You still have your speedometer on your left, tachometer's on your right, the colors stay the same. I don't know why they changed that. I thought it was so cool that you could change the look of the gauges, kind of like BMW and Mercedes-Benz does, but at a Hyundai. But it doesn't change anymore. Not that it looks bad, it's just, I like customization, that's all. You still have how many miles you have left until you hit empty, outside temperature, the basics, so I guess it's okay. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. You're gonna find a power sunroof for the SEL activity trim level and up. I love that. You got LED interior lighting for all trim levels across the board. I like that as well. Auto dimming rear view mirror with home light controls for the limited trim level only. Dual zone climate control for the SEL trim level and up, so both driver and passenger can set their own temperatures there. Wireless phone charger is going to come with the SEL activity trim level and up. Got 64 colors of ambient lighting for the limited. Just in front of the shifter then, if you press that button that says push, you got a 12-volt power outlet. I just wanted to show you guys that because it's kind of hidden. To the right of the shifter, you have a couple cup holders surrounded by a gloss black finish. I like that. Then within the center armrest, it is a pretty deep amount of storage in there, so big fan of that as well. But I think one of my favorite accent pieces on the interior is this kind of cloth finish that is brought onto the doors. They didn't have to do that, but I like texturized finishes, and that definitely added a little bit of that. Like the silver door handles, I like the little bit of storage just above the passenger side glove box, so a little bit of storage for the passenger there. It looks like you can actually put your cell phone in the middle. So that's kind of cool too. So overall, I think they did a pretty darn good job with the interior quality, so I don't mind it. But let's go ahead now and take a look at the infotainment screen. You're looking at a 12.3-inch color touchscreen display for all trim levels across the board. Bluetooth and audio streaming, wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. I love that. There's valet mode. Let's see what else we got here. Check out your vehicle diagnostics because that's always fun. And of course your radio information. So when it comes to the sound systems, 6 speakers does come standard, but then with the limited you get a Bose premium sound system. So having said that, let's go ahead and turn on our 6 speaker sound system that we have with us here today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. That's actually really good. Like for 6 speakers, I mean, I guess this thing isn't huge, but for 6 speakers, that is a lot of bass, a lot of clarity. I don't have any issues with that. That's a really good sound system for the Santa Cruz, no doubt. But anyways, last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put this thing in reverse, you will find a rear view camera, pretty high quality actually as well. I like that. Letting you know who or what is behind you, and actually the surround view monitor that we don't have with us here today, that is going to come on the limited if you wanted that as well, but that as always is going to lead us into safety. And so let me start by saying this is an IIHS top safety pick, so that's a wonderful start right there. Front side carried airbags coming standard. In the back you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard forward collision assist with pedestrian detection, a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. I love that. Lane keep assist, lane following assist, driver attention warning, and safe exit warning then as well. Then if you were to go with the XRT trim level and up, you also get adaptive cruise control with stop and go, highway driving assist, and a blind spot view monitor then as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts, I think it's a very, very cool design to the Santa Cruz. I've always loved the way they integrated this LED daytime running lights into the front grille and the angel wing design. Fun fact, there's actually 9 different types of angels mentioned in the Bible, in case you guys didn't know. Pretty cool if you wanted to look it up. I also love the brilliant warranty on this thing as well. You get 10 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain. So if you're like my wife and you drive 10,000 miles or less per year, you got this thing for 10 years warranty, which is absolutely crazy. This thing rides like an SUV too, which is definitely a good thing. It's a very nice ride, at least when you compare it to like actually driving a truck. So I'm a big fan of that. Also, it is priced right. I like that as well. I think the only thing that I would maybe change a little bit, besides ambient lighting, I always say that, I feel like, but just have the back seats a little bit bigger. I know that's probably going to be like a redesign kind of thing, but there's not a ton of rear legroom when you're comparing it to like SUVs and stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't mind just more like a crew cab setup in the back as opposed to like, what do you call this? I don't think it's a double cab. Super cab? Whatever you want to call it. I just want more rear legroom for the rear passengers for the kids. Anyways, that's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media somewhere on the screen there if you wanted to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we've been doing for 11 years now. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold. Let there be light. Finicky, 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 Finnegan. Oh, we got so much gas in this thing. It's ridiculous. Jack G and Volvo, you did a wonderful job with gassing up your cars, and I appreciate it. Where's the clutch pedal?